Follow up now. Former Perryton coach Cole Underwood was sentenced yesterday. During those proceedings, a woman who says Underwood sexually abused her as a child spoke in court. Looking back at the history of this case, 29-year-old Underwood was arrested in April of last year on a warrant for sexual assault of a child. That was in connection to a 15-year-old Perryton high school girl when he worked there. Then in June, he was indicted on federal charges of enticement and attempted enticement of a minor and receipt of child pornography. He pleaded guilty to the enticement charge this past September. Yesterday, federal judge Matthew Kesmerick sentenced Underwood to the maximum of 30 years in prison and lifetime supervised release. In that sentencing phase, it's customary for the defense and prosecution to present people on both sides who want to weigh in. One woman who spoke in court says Underwood has victimized before. Camera Local 4's Blas Guerrero reports says Underwood sexually abused her for years when she was a girl.
The woman read her letter in court. She provided it to KMR Local 4 News. She says in her letter the abuse lasted from her 5th grade through high school freshman years. She wrote Underwood knew what was wrong, it was wrong, and blamed it on what she calls a youth porn addiction. She writes, quote, "I am terrified to be here, but I will choose time and time again to stand up and speak for the little girls who do not have the strength to do so." She writes she has been diagnosed with PTSD and depression, which stems from this abuse. She did say his actions don't define her. She writes, quote, "I want to be known for being strong and empowering, not the little girl who was abused." She tells us it's important to remember this case is about the Perryton girl. She wrote, quote, "Cole stole her innocence as he did mine." She goes on to write, quote, "I choose to speak up for what's right and not hide behind my fear of judgment or my fears of safety." She told the judge the purpose of her appearance was not to lengthen Underwood's sentence, but to, quote, "read from a hole in my heart that needed help healing." She also wrote, quote, "I pray he finds help while he's inside because God knows he needs it." In Amarillo, Blas Guerrero, KMR Local 4 News.
She tells us she wants to drive home the importance of reporting these crimes. If you are a child being abused, find an adult to tell or tell several adults. Whether you are an adult or child, there is help available. We have some of those resources listed for you at myhighplains.com. The woman who wrote the letter says it's a disgrace so many prominent people here in Amarillo gave the judge letters of support for Underwood. We have learned Amarillo Police Chief Martin Birkenfeld wrote a letter. We asked the department why the chief of police would write a letter of support for a man who has pleaded guilty to enticement and attempted enticement of a minor. They responded with this statement: "The letter was written by Martin Birkenfeld during his personal time and does not represent the Amarillo Police Department, nor does he make any mention of his position within the PD." Amarillo Police investigating a domestic violence and theft incident Monday